Prototype 2 is one of the rawest games I've ever played. Once again, just like the first game, developed by Radical and, unfortunately, published by their absent father, Activision. Coming into the sequel of this game, I have plenty of questions. What did they improve on? What did they add? What did they take away? And more importantly, is my GOAT still around? Well, without blowing my load, I'll tell you this game does not disappoint. Yeah, it's quite different, but it's still a great addition to the series. Man, we could only imagine what the third game would have looked like, right? Who knows, maybe there's one on the way.
Like that's ever gonna happen.
Let's start our bloody, angry, and destructive journey through Prototype 2. Major incredible spoilers ahead, just so you know. Welcome to New York Zero, 14 months after the first outbreak. Why anyone would ever still choose to live here after the previous incident, I don't know. But another virus outbreak has been in the block, and it's worse than ever. The virus has evolved heavily since then, creating bigger, badder, and nastier genetic brutes. They even got the damn birds mutated. The Mercer virus is back at it again, and it's not looking too good for the NYZ and its people. And what, you think we'd still be playing as Alex? Wrong. You didn't see the black dude on the cover? Instead of playing as our boy Alex, we have a brand new hero.
Did I say I was a fucking hero, you piece of shit?
My fault, gang. Damn. Fuck. New protagonist. Say hello to James Heller. As you could hear, he's an aggressive fella. He's always 10 toes down, ready to wreck some shit. He's a former Marine, mentally unstable, and a bit of a hard ass. During this second outbreak, he was overseas fighting in Iraq, leaving his wife and daughter to fend for themselves. But he came back with nothing but heavy grief for his dead family, PTSD, and an insurmountable amount of hate for the man who created and spread the infection. The reason why his family is gone. The one and only Alex Zeus Mercer. Being a man who's out for blood with nothing to lose, he volunteers to be deployed in a suicide mission to fight the infested, or perhaps to fight Alex himself. And on his mission, he gets just that. After Heller's unit gets destroyed via a random flying car, Alex conveniently presents himself to him. Heller tries to go in for the kill, but of course, our boy isn't that easy to get rid of.
Back up, man!
Alex toys with him, and Heller actually puts up a decent fight, but it's just not enough. Alex gets the drop on him, but since he's quite impressed with Heller's grit, determination, and pure hatred, he does something else. Instead of ripping him apart, turning him into a human surfboard, throwing him across the street, disemboweling him, turning him into a meat pie, he infects him. And not the kind of infection that'll turn him into one of these. I mean the kind of infection that turned Alex into what he is today. Alex leaves him to succumb to the virus, and while Heller is fighting the worst tummy ache of his life, he's found and transported to a Gentech facility. Gentech takes him in, not to patch him up of course, but to experiment on him. Big mistake. Then after Heller gets a little upset about the situation,
I'm gonna kill you when I get out of here. Hey, you hear me?
They try to burn this nigga alive. Bigger mistake.
You're gonna pay for this.
Being a newfound genetic freak, he uses his strength to escape, and once he's out, he gets the chance to speak with Alex one more time. Alex explains to him that he didn't actually release the infection this time, it was Blackwatch and Gentech, and asks Heller to join his cause to take them out.
I didn't release the virus, and I didn't kill your wife and kid. I want to destroy them. Blackwatch and Gentech and their virus, and I want your help.
Hey, so you're not gonna believe this, but spoiler alert, that nigga was the culprit the whole time.
Oh, he guilty.
You going to jail now?
You dumb fuck.
Look at his lying ass, he trying not to laugh. The craziest part is that he was caught in 4K high definition center screen. But of course, Heller doesn't know this yet, so agrees to help Alex. But once he finds out... However, Alex wasn't lying about one thing. Blackwatch and Gentech are in fact working together to weaponize the virus, running experiments on innocents and shamelessly enjoying the process. A lot of their experiments are them just gathering some people up and releasing the infected on them. What's the expected result, nigga? Monster kill human? They just like watching that for real. One way they're utilizing the virus that's not just watching people get mauled to death is to create a better super soldier serum. Then, and only then, will they develop a cure for the virus. And they did. They called it White Light. However, the whole supply got tainted with Alex's blood, turning everyone who comes into contact with it into an infected. So instead of trying again, guess what their second option is? They try to blow up the city again. Not with a nuke this time though. But still, now on to Alex's plan. He wants to destroy Blackwatch, and the best way to do it is from the inside out. How can he do that without an inside man or inside men? He converts them, of course, by turning them into evolved that he can control and order around. Evolved are basically a nerfed version of what Alex is, or really, a nerfed version of what we are. Get them in, ruin their operations, and we win. But Alex's plan goes even further than that. He doesn't just want to take out Blackwatch, he wants to spread the virus globally, turning everyone into an evolved that can share a purpose, that can share a mind.
Humanity is stagnant. I would give it one body, one mind. No more conflict, no more disease, no more suffering.
So now it's up to Heller and the very few friends he makes along the way.
And Brick. Hello!
Okay, I'm sorry. And the few friends he makes along the way to shut down Blackwatch, Gentech, and Alex, once and for all. So in the previous video, I implied that Prototype 2's story wasn't all that great, but it's really not all that bad. It's a little silly more than anything. Maybe it's just that Prototype 1 wasn't exactly setting itself up for a sequel, and because of that, Radical just fumbled the bag when it came to finding a way to continue the story. But it's not like Prototype 1 was the pinnacle of storytelling either. Hell, did most of you even play these games for the story, or did you play it for this? Exactly. I'm not saying it's an excuse for bad writing, but it's like when niggas say, I watch porn for the plot.
I'm not at the beach, this is a bathtub.
I think what most people were clenching their fists in anger about was the ending, because, you know, Alex fucking dies. But honestly, I think Alex let himself get consumed by Heller. I want to say it was an alley-oop for the third game to give us a crazy-ass dunk of a twist or a plot point, but we'll never know. Also, the tone of these two games are very different. The first game felt a little moodier, and this one feels like a straight-up action movie. Not saying Prototype 1 isn't action-packed, but the color palette and the dialogue just give off completely different vibes. I don't know. I'm no critic, I just like to yap. So let's yap about how action-packed this game really is. Prototype 2's gameplay is an improvement over the first, though that is definitely up for debate. It streamlined a lot of gameplay features by cutting out a lot of the excess fat the previous game had, though they might have accidentally cut off a bit of muscle along with it. For example, all those dope-ass combat abilities from the first game, gone. No more body surfing, no more cannonballs, no more shoryukens, no more hammer tosses. Different Devastator attacks? Nope, just one. That cool-ass armor Alex had? Reduced to a lowly cosmetic. Yeah, this game cut out a lot of our arsenal. Some of Heller's new abilities don't exactly make up for the lack of variety, but they are a super fun addition. They also added a lot more things to do around the NYZ that's not just collecting blue orbs and blowing shit up. I mean, you still blow shit up, but you know what I'm saying. The map has also expanded by quite a bit. The NYZ is made up of 3 zones, the green being the most peaceful, relatively speaking, and the red being a nightmarish hellscape. The yellow zone is a place where the infected still roam, but to the citizens, they're not the problem. The Blackwatch pigs are. In this city, there's always something going on, always something to do, and always something to consume. Compared to the last game, Heller has a lot of work to do. So how about we take a look into his bag and see if he has the tools for success. Just like any other descendant of Mercer, you're equipped with the disguise ability. You're going to be using this a little bit more often than usual because a good chunk of the game revolves around the infiltration into Blackwatch facilities. Sometimes you'll have to consume a specific Blackwatch soldier to get in for story reasons, but usually you can have any old random ass soldier fit on and you can waltz in like you own the place. No, sadly, you can't blow the building the fuck up. Yeah, I'm devastated too, but you can still leave the inside full of bodies and have it look like an absolute monster rampage through it. Oh wait, a monster did rampage through it. Once you're inside, you just follow the objectives the mission gives you, but once you get what you need, you can start ripping some nerds apart. Unfortunately, I don't think you can go into buildings outside of missions, but it's simply a change of scenery. You can do stuff like this anywhere. Blackwatch agents have grown to be a little smarter too, just a little bit. They are way more suspicious about some random ass nigga falling from the sky and crashing into their base. Same with a lot of other small actions that may be seen as not so normal. Not enough to be totally exposed though, so yeah, they're still mentally handicapped. A lot of mission objectives will have you consume someone in or around a base, but it's a little harder to do it stealthily because they're more aware than ever. Someone's eyes are always watching their back, and someone might be watching theirs too. So honestly, it can get so annoying that you just say, fuck it, and bash that nigga's brains in front of everybody. And if you decide to do that, all you need to do is escape the alert and come back with a disguise. And in reality, there will rarely be a time when you need to be stealthy. Sometimes it's forced upon you, but sometimes it's just for a bonus. Again, civilian disguises barely do shit for you. Their sole purpose in life is to be Heller's little health packs. But again, whenever you're caught, you can just escape. And escaping has never been easier. Maneuvering around in this game starts off a little better than in the first game. Instead of you needing to unlock the glide and the air dashes, you get them at the very start. Got that Mercer Virus 2.0 update. We're also a bit more floaty. I'm honestly not good at comparisons, but getting around town feels a whole lot better, especially after you level up movement. Dodging is a whole lot better too. Heller can dodge over enemies to get the drop on them. And with some opponents, you even get a reaction command to dodge and get an attack in. Dodging is a very vital part of gameplay now. Not saying it wasn't important in Prototype 1, but there's definitely more mechanics surrounding it in this one. Speaking of combat, let's get into our combat prowess. So, here's the thing. Heller is strong as fuck. This nigga is a whole different beast. Sure, he doesn't have the same amount of moves that Alex had in his bag, but the amount of raw destruction he can put out is actually insane. Heller has 10 abilities and powers in total, some new ones and some good old classics. You can even have 2 powers equipped at once now. Because new things are shiny and exciting, I'll go ahead and introduce our newest addition to the weapon wheel, replacing muscle mass, the tendrils. My favorite power in this entire game. I honestly don't know how to describe this one. I mean, look at that shit, it's crazy. The tendrils, as most other powers in this game, have only 2 moves. One is punching. Simple, yes, but it's a punch that tears regular humanoid targets limb from limb, stringing them to their surroundings, rips apart vehicles with ease, and temporarily ensnares bigger targets for you to get a hit off. And then there's the tendril black hole, in which you shoot a load of biomass at a target that spawns tendrils that latch onto its surroundings for it to violently crash into the target. Excellent for crowd control and big damage. One of the most terrifying things you can make someone experience. I feel like that it's pretty creative. Tendrils also have one of the best animations for destroying helicopters. To keep up our streak of introducing new abilities, let's move on to the Bio Bomb. A biological explosive where you discreetly or indiscreetly implant some unstable biomatter into someone's cranium. You can either leave them to blow up themselves, keeping you free from suspicion, or punt the nigga like a football into a group of enemies and watch them all get ripped apart. The best part about doing it inconspicuously is that if there's too many eyes on your target, just implant a bomb into some random and everyone's eyes are on that instead. Well, either that or everyone got turned into spaghetti. Next up, we got the Pack Leader. Ever wonder why we could never control the infected in the first game? Yeah, I didn't think about that either actually, but now you can. Using Heller's mass meter, he can summon up to 4 crazy strong pitbull brawlers to fight your battles for you. You can even command them to focus on specific targets, like a tank, a helicopter, an evolve, or an unfortunate Blackwatch soldier. And after your summons die, or if you command them to, they violently erupt, doing a pretty decent amount of damage. Stick them on your target, and you can just sit back and watch, like the sick freak you are. And our last new ability, which is actually not as useless as the vision abilities in the first game, is the Hunter ability. Somehow, some way, by the will of Mercer, Heller developed the ability to geolocate people simply by thinking about them? I don't know. There'll be times where you'll need to consume or fight someone without knowing exactly where they are. So Heller sends and receives a sonar pulse that helps him find out which direction his target is in, and eventually helps him pinpoint the target. Now, I know this seems like something you'd only use in missions that require it, but that's not true. Using the pulse also lets you know if someone you want to consume is being watched by someone else. Yellow for if they're being watched, and white for easy pickings. Depending on how many people are around, this can change as soon as the Hunter vision wears off. Now this one is semi-new. It's been in the last game, but it's used quite differently. The shield. The shield was used as a way to deflect bullets and mitigate incoming damage, but now you're going to be using it to become a parry god. Instead of it being a power you can equip, it's something that you trigger when you need it. You'll mainly be using the shield against super soldiers, brawlers, juggernauts, and rocket launchers. Oh, the rocket launchers. Don't get me fucking started. Right before an attack comes at you, hit the shield button to deflect it. This leads to an opening where you can slam and suplex niggas into the ground, or where you can return a rocket back to its sender. The rocket parry is so addicting to get off. The incessant beeps that trigger when someone is aiming at you makes me wanna, you know, bash someone's skull in, but it also lets you know when to hit that shield button, and it's awesome. I mean, could you imagine how fucking baffling it is to shoot a rocket launcher at someone and that shit just comes back to you. The rest of our abilities are things we're pretty familiar with. Even though almost everything has been simplified and stripped down from their previous iterations, they're still fun to use and still pretty effective. Take the Blade for instance. There's really only two abilities you should keep in mind. One is the Blade Tornado, where you spin round and round and slice and dice everyone in your vicinity like you're making some ratatouille. Fantastic for clearing your surroundings. Two is the Flying Air Slice attack that used to one-shot tanks, but they debuffed it. Still insanely cool though. It slices the arms off of brawlers and splits people straight down the middle. Man, can I say something real quick? One of the best parts about games like this is just how many different ways there are to take out the fodder. You just pick a power like you're picking out what to wear and go to town. There's no real wrong way to do it. Do you want to turn bro into ground beef or string them up as decoration? Hey, here's another familiar face, the Hammer Fists. Not as slow as they were in the first game, but just as lethal, if not a little more lethal. I mean, look at these things, dog. They're really good to use against armored vehicles, but really, you can use them against anything and they'll die, like most things in this game. Spoiler alert, the claws can no longer do the ground spike. It comes from the Hammer Fist now. The Hammer Fist ground spike is a great way to stun bigger opponents for you to lay the smackdown on them. Shakes them to their core. They go up in the air and shit. You can do it to an even greater extent by doing a Hammer Fist dive bomb. It's a little extra to be honest, but remember, they tried to burn you alive. No mercy. Oh, almost forgot. The elbow drop is back. Just had to throw that in there. I love the elbow drop. So unnecessary, but so necessary at the same time. The Whip Fist is relatively unchanged. I'd say this is one of the powers that directly got a buff. Not only is street sweeping the default, but the range and damage seem to have increased as well. Not saying the Whip Fist wasn't strong before, because apparently I was wrong. It was strong as shit. But it just feels way better to use. If you want a quick way to get rid of multiple goons in front of you, I'd recommend it. They're also pretty cool to use against brawlers and super soldiers because you can attack multiple at once. So it's either for that, or figuring out how many different ways there are to skin a Gentech scientist. In the first game, I mainly used it to grab people from afar, but at the point in which you get the Whip Fist in this game, Heller is already super fast and strong as an ox. You might as well go up to him and grab him, but hey, that's just me. And last but certainly not least, the Claws. The Claws got a little bit of a bad rap in the last game due to how shit it becomes compared to your other powers, but they definitely redeemed them now. They have way better range and are insanely proficient in mano-a-mano situations. If you're fighting anything except armored vehicles, you're probably going to be using this. No ground spike unfortunately, but the sheer pressure that this can apply to your enemies is more than enough. And yeah, it's also another amputation tool. Now that we're fully aware of our weapons of mass destruction, how do we sharpen them? Well, there's quite a bit of ways we can evolve. And I'll start with using EP to level up. EP is no longer a currency you use to unlock abilities. It's instead treated as experience points. Once you have enough for a level up, the game will force you to put an attribute in one of 6 categories. Movement, which is pretty self-explanatory. Each point will increase your mobility in one way or another. More speed, more air, more dashes. Points and health means more health, go figure. Points and regeneration will increase how much you regen health outside and during combat, as well as how much health you receive after consuming. Points and shapeshifting will overall make you a little less conspicuous. It makes Blackwatch agents even dumber and rids them of the peripheral vision. Points and mass will of course increase your mass meter and let you perform devastators uninterrupted. And finally, finishers, see what I did there? Will let you instantly delete helicopters and tanks with the simple push of a button. You don't need to rip the guns off of vehicles anymore. You can do that, by the way. Cool as fuck, I know. You can just press finish and end their miserable lives for good. For the helicopters, I noticed, depending on which power you have equipped, the animation for your finishers will change, which is a very nice detail. They could have just kept this boring ass uppercut for every single one, but they put in the work to make it look as interesting and effortless as possible. God bless you, Radical. While you end up being pretty strong after leveling up, our thirst for power does not stop there. Let's talk about mutations. Mutations are basically major buffs you receive outside of leveling up that are split into different categories: offensive, defensive, locomotion, Jared Fogle, power specialist, and Radnet. Whenever you unlock a mutation for said category, you can choose which buff you want, and it's not like you can only have a few active at a time. No, you can have all of these active at the same time. Unlocking all of these are what's going to make Heller an absolute overpowered unit. There's one that literally just makes you impervious to bullets. Mutations are something you can get by just running around and killing shit. You have to run around and kill shit with a purpose, and maybe listen to some of the most evil things you've ever heard.
Don't shoot us, for God's sake, please don't shoot us!
Me
need to hear your son talk, ma'am.
He's autistic. He's not infected. I swear to God, no! No!
I don't know if they were trying to be funny with this. What you just heard was a black box recording, just one of many that are lying around the NYZ. These recordings are picked up from dead Blackwatch soldiers who are lying around in very unconventional locations. What made him die here? Nobody finna pick bro up? Is he not starting to stink a little bit? Well, actually, there's probably more important matters to pay attention to now that I think about it. While the NYZ is split up into 3 zones, the zones are also separated by neighborhood. Each neighborhood has collectibles for you to find. 1 being those black boxes I mentioned, 2 layers, underground pits riddled with infected and sewage probably nasty, and 3 being Gentech field operations where the scientists are too focused on the research to notice the 220-pound genetic anomaly that's about to turn them into tomato paste. There's a few of these around almost every neighborhood, and you can see how many you have left through the collectibles map. Yeah, there's a regular map and the collectibles map. Why couldn't they just put it all in one map menu? Beats me. But regardless, the collectibles map will tell you how many there are and what category of mutation you'll be rewarded with. The best part is that you don't even have to guess where all of them are. They don't tell you this, so I will. In the collectible map menu, you might see little white pulses. That means there's a collectible in that general area. It's not precise, but precise enough to find it pretty quickly after getting into that range. But unlocking mutations doesn't just stop there. There's a more story relevant method that's not just running around in the sewers and blitzing random scientists. Welcome to
Nigga Chain, the first fully AI layer 2 blockchain built on Solana.
Welcome to BlackNet, an encrypted network that Blackwatch troops use to communicate with each other during operations. Since we're certified haters, we're gonna do all that we can to sabotage their operations. So how do we get into this network? It's not like Heller is a computer whiz. In fact, he fucking hates computers.
I'm at the computer. What do I press?
First, you need
I'm pressing the red button. Shit. Now the screen's all fucked up.
press the alternate key. ALT
Alt.
alternate.
There's no fucking alt. I got a fucking squiggly line key. I got a fucking key with a triangle on it. What the fuck kind of keyboard is this anyway?
In order to infiltrate and sabotage these operations, we need a special unit's login info, and the only way we're able to get such information is to ingest the poor bastard. These unlucky souls will randomly pop up in your minimap from time to time and unlock a side op for you. Once you're ready, head to a Blackwatch terminal, log in, and prepare to do a bit of trolling. There's 12 different mission sets to complete, some of which have multiple jobs in them to do before you get rewarded with a mutation. I'm telling you, even though this game is a little short, they added a ton of extra content. Sure, a lot of the missions can be a little samey, but more content is more content. But wait, we have even more ways for Heller to get powerful. What? You thought we were finished with the upgrades? We need to be as strong as possible. As Alex said,
Welcome to the top of the food chain.
aside from the power specialist category in our mutations, we can push our abilities even further through consuming specific targets in the open world. Whenever the game feels like it's appropriate, they'll mark enemies you should consume on your minimap. Really, you'll only be consuming either brawlers or agents. Brawlers will improve your weapon willpowers and your bio bomb on top of that. How the game decides what gets upgraded isn't exactly clear to me, but it'll be any of those. Depending on the power, it'll reward you with more damage, more range, more spins, just an overall improvement to the ability. They also get a bit of a facelift. The change is noticeable but quite subtle. I didn't even notice until the wiki told me. But when you do notice, the change is defining. Makes you feel like more of a threat. I mean, brother, look at the difference between the starter hammer fist to the maxed out look. It's the difference between pissing your pants and shitting them. Consuming agents, like in the last game, will only make you more proficient in using military weaponry like tanks, helicopters, and other weapons. I honestly don't have too much to say since I never really used vehicles or weapons in this game unless forced to. And once again, one way you're forced to use vehicles is through events, more specifically, RadNet events. They definitely increased the variety of trials a little bit from before. I mean, some of them are the same idea, different execution, but I digress. Look, and it's not me being lazy, okay? But I honestly don't want to spend too much time on these because I didn't really like them all that much. But you do get some nifty rewards for completing a challenge set. After a set is done, you get rewarded with a RadNet mutation, in which most of them are kind of whatever, and some dope behind the scenes development videos. RadNet was also a way for you to compete with friends in challenges, unlock avatars, unlock themes. I mean, shit, there were 55 pieces of what I assume to be free DLC released during that time with RadNet, and whatever all that included. I'm sure this game would have saved the company from being sliced in half if they were a little more you know what I'm saying, a little more rapacious. Yeah. But hey, it was a different time. A time when devs actually cared and didn't want us to die in a fire. Now, quite honestly, I really like this game, but I feel like quite a bit of people don't. And like, I can understand why. For one, instead of Alex continuing to be the somewhat complex character that we knew in the previous game, he's now a silly ass supervillain for Heller to inflict his vengeance upon. And Heller himself isn't really that interesting of a character either. He's just an angry ass dude who wants to avenge his family. I mean, good motive, he's just kinda flat like all the other characters and dialogue in this game, to be honest. It's all just pretty profane in one note. I don't know, I guess it just tries a little too hard to be cool and edgy. Despite all that, remember what I said, this game is still really fun. I really fuck with this game. Even though it's not that difficult, it's still a pretty sick power fantasy, and everything still looks pretty sick. Does it lack the depth of the first game? Sure does, but it doesn't stop it from standing on its own 2 feet. It's a good game, just not a good prototype game, and that's okay. Well, it would be okay if we got a third one, but whatever. But remember, what I say does not do this game justice. Hate the monster, kill the monster, then become the monster. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like. And if you like me, I recommend subscribing. And if you really like me, I recommend subscribing to my second channel that I post there sometimes, maybe when I feel like it. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.